series. Again, I know. But this one is just about Elle. Now, I did do a video last time about Elle, and it was quite interesting, so we're just going to continue the stories about Elle, because she is one interesting character. So, I met Elle around 3rd grade. She's not a bad person, she's just weird. And I wrote down she's strange, but she's just weird. That's all. I have weird friends. I'm weird, but she's weird. Just saying. She tended to, used to, and when I went to high school with her, she used to do the same kind of thing. She's very lazy. She gets mad very easy. And then when she gets really mad, her face turns so red. And it's very fitting because she really liked Tinkerbell at the time and had a bunch of Tinkerbell stuff, but she'd get a red face just like Tinkerbell whenever she got mad. And when she got older and I stopped playing with my dolls, she started playing with her dolls more, which, I don't know, it was kind of interesting, but just a little details to add into her character. I actually found out that she lived like 3 houses away from me when I moved schools, away from the same school that we used to go together, which was the last school I explained in my last episode or video. Once I found out that she lived near me, I immediately started hanging out with her more. I was the type of girl that really liked adventure and I liked to go and explore new things. She didn't like being away from home. So I'm going to explain one story so far. I convinced her to sleep over one night, and this probably was my bad, but I don't know. She slept over but forgot her toothbrush, and I said, no, I have one, but I totally forgot that before I offered her the toothbrush, I didn't remember that I actually did a craft with that toothbrush, and it had lotion on it still. And I didn't tell her because I forgot, for one. And, well, she ended up brushing her teeth with it. And after about 3 hours of being at my house, sleeping over, she ended up saying that she was homesick, even though she's like 3 houses away. But yeah, she was so used to being at home so much. So I understood. But after like me being irritated and be like, well, you only live like 3 houses away, how are you homesick? And I was irritated because she was the only friend I had for a long time, and I wanted to have a good time with her and just have her spend the night and just not worry about it. But she wouldn't let it go, and she actually ended up throwing up. And I don't know if it's from the lotion on the toothbrush or from her actually being homesick and actually getting sick. But I don't know, she threw up in the bathroom and I had to take her home. It was a sad day. So anyway, that was exciting. But moving on, back to the fact that I actually really liked adventure at the time and she didn't. We went on a lot of bike rides, but after going a block away from home, she would end up crying and saying she's homesick just a block away from her home. And she would get so angry and irritated that there was one time she was riding her bike and crashed into a trash can, and it was probably one of the funniest things I've seen in a long time at that time. So yes, I did help her up, but I couldn't help myself. I still remember it. It's pretty funny. Anyway, there was the time where I actually started getting really hairy legs, and my mom taught me how to shave my legs. After a while of shaving my legs, this was the time where I was in middle school. I actually showed her how to shave her legs because she didn't know how. No one taught her. And she lives with her grandmother, but her grandmother is really, really strict and didn't teach her and didn't plan on ever teaching her. So I ended up trying to help her out and just taught her how to shave her legs, her armpits, and if she wanted, her arms. After showing her once, she never did it again. And I tried to style her up a lot because she was having a hard time trying to find more friends, and I was just gonna give her like a makeover. And yeah, the only time she ever did anything with her beauty was when I was around and I did it for her. But you know, it's okay. No hard feelings. But this was the point of time where her grandmother actually really didn't like me because, for one, I'm a very leader type person, and I like to give advice and help people out in the way that a leader does. So Elle, for a long time, had a border around her room that was the kind of border that you would put in a toddler's room. And her room was designed in a way where if there wasn't a crib in there, you would mistake it for a toddler's room. So what I helped her do was just like, why don't we rearrange your room and take down the border and make it more like a teen's room, because at the time she was actually a teen. And she agreed and helped me rearrange the room. Her grandmother comes in mid-arrangement and glares the fuck out of me and realizes what we were doing, waited for me to finish arranging the room with her, and told Emma that she doesn't want her in the house anymore. Like, I wasn't allowed to hang out with her anymore at the house. So her grandmother didn't like me being the kind of leader that I was. I was pretty stubborn with that, but at the same time, her grandma was so strict on her, and she treated her like crap all the time, and I saw it. And I felt bad for Emma, so I tried to take her out of the house as much as possible, and which really helped me because I like adventure. So I tried. And then we eventually had other friends too, but it was hard to get her out of the house because she would always eventually have a problem with that person, and her grandmother would end up telling her she's not allowed to see them anymore. If her grandmother wasn't there, I was like allowed to go there because her grandpa was always cool. We never had a problem with him at all. Her grandmother was not fun. But anyway, probably the main point of this video is what I'm going to title it as. We wanted to go on a bike ride, which was going to last a while, and this was while we were in high school. My mom, when she was driving by the street of our school, she drove past a store that had a lot of wind chimes, and they were really pretty outside the store. I did not look at the title of the store, I guess you could say, the name of the store. And I don't remember it ever being any bad. And I actually mentioned it and pointed it out to my mom, and I'm like, look at all the pretty wind chimes. And she's like, oh yeah, that's so pretty. So we were gonna take a trip to that store because I thought it was just a wind chime store. And we had money, so we were just gonna go there. So Elle had a tendency to pretend to ask her grandparents to go for a long bike ride, and she ends up not telling them or asking them. Even though I tell her, hey, can you go inside and ask if you can go on this trip so that way they know where you're going. And she doesn't have enough courage at the time to ask them and just says, okay, they said yes, and then we end up going. Well, that's exactly what happened this time. And we were going on a long trip. So when I found out at the end she didn't tell her grandparents, I was pissed off at her for not telling them or asking. But anyway, we started riding our bikes, and not knowing what the shop was, we went in and we got closer to the store inside the parking lot, and I got closer into the store and saw that there was a bunch of smoke stuff in there, like cigarettes, and it smelled like weed. I realized what store it was before going in there, and I told Elle, no, let's go somewhere else. So we ended up going to a thrift store, which was way farther away than this shop was, which was the main reason why I asked her to ask her grandparents if she can go. So we ended up going to this thrift shop, and we found like cute dresses, so we ended up getting a few dresses, and then eventually we make our way home. Well, apparently, since Anna didn't tell her grandparents if she can go or where she was going, they were worried sick and ended up asking my parents about it. They told them that she was going this and that way, so with me. So her grandparents were pissed off at me for taking her without them knowing, thinking that I just told her don't ask your grandparents. But I explained to them, no, I told her to ask you guys, and she ended up not asking. And they didn't believe me, so I got in trouble in the end, and Elle didn't. Which was kind of shitty, to be honest. I still, to this day, Emma's grandma still doesn't like me, and it's been years and years. And they're pretty religious people, and even the Bible says forgiveness is encouraged or some shit like that. So it's kind of like, I'm kind of fed up with it. But I don't really hang out with Elle anymore, so it doesn't really bother me. But the way that I was treated by her grandmother was something I did not like, so I didn't go over there that much, because why would I want to be around that? Why would I choose to be around that? But I was surprised that they didn't get the police involved for how long we were gone. But at the same time, if they got in contact with my parents and my parents knew where I was going, I guess the police just didn't get involved. That's that's the whole story with Elle. And I'm not completely done with telling you a little bit more about her and her friend choice, but yeah, that is all of that story. So about Elle personally, there are little things that she does where she just gets angry really easily, and she used to not have a lot of confidence, and just, it's hard to explain her personality, but she just wasn't very confident in herself and very shy. And she always had a lot of good friends, and I believe I'm a good friend. So she had me, and she had friends that I'm still friends with right now that encourage her to do more great things to improve who she is and what she stands for. So, alright, I'm gonna stop talking, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.